Welcome back to this brand new special Christmas coffee tech break with Jan. I think I got another great video for you lined up today because I want to take you through Alright, let's continue because we got a lot of good stuff in this presentation. There's so many new things which were launched, and hopefully this gives you a good impression of all the possibilities, probably some of those things which you're able to use in your own environment. Now, one of the things which was already in the previous version, but I think still good to mention, is that the E60 supports now the Studio X bars, first generation and second generation, as an additional camera. So you're able to hook it up through USB, connect that to the bar, and then you can switch in your specific platform and you can switch to the other camera. And you might have a whiteboard in that room or something which you want to give some additional attention, and that is possible. Now, that was already possible with the E70, but with the E60 you got now some options for presenter tracking. So it makes sense at some locations or some new rooms you're building that it's maybe easier to get the E60 there. Now, how does this look like when you look at it from a meeting room perspective? We got the presenter here standing in front of a whiteboard. We got here the E60 as an additional camera. You can even reverse mount it. There are some ceiling mount options available, and I can put in the comments some of those references. Now, what you define is in the E60 you define your room shot. So that's the overall shot. So as long as nobody's presenting here, you can switch to this camera to give that total overview. Now, you can also define the presenter shot. Now, the presenter shot is a bit more above the table, because if people gonna sit right here, it will try to track them. So you put the presenter shot a little bit higher, so as soon as somebody stands up and is going to present here, the AI camera underneath the E60 will be notified that somebody is standing here, and then the camera will immediately go here to keep that person in the view. Really nice. So this is something available now with the E60 camera. How do you configure that? I showed you also this in my previous video. So we have the option available now, frame presenter. If you select that, you get a new option to configure that. Then you will get like the AI camera, the view of the camera underneath, which will show you the meeting room. And there you can define the stage frame, which is that room shot, that total overview, and you can set the presenter tracking zone. This is when as soon as somebody goes in that presenter zone, in front of a whiteboard or here on a stage, it will try to follow that person. And if there's multiple persons in that presenter zone, then it will fall back to group tracking. So I think this is a very nice use case for some of your meeting rooms. The next one up is demystifying the multiple camera. So I've already presented this in my last PolyOS update, but as I mentioned in there, this is a moving target. So there's a lot of things happening on the multi-camera side. So we got USB connected cameras where you can use extenders to get further out in the room, and we got now IP connected cameras. Cameras is of course much easier to bring that further out in the room, just up to the physical length of 100 meters with those cables. So I think this is a very nice use case, especially when we're going to talk about multiple cameras in meeting rooms. Now, as I said, with this new release, we got new additional third-party products supported. And in this case, the StarTech, the ST4300 USB. And again, I will make sure I put in the comments every third-party product I'm talking about, and make sure I put them in the comments so you have an idea about this product and where to find it. But this one is tested now with the G62 to enhance the number of ports. Because G62 has now 2 ports. That means if you got 2 cameras connected, you're out of ports. You cannot connect third-party DSP or a touchscreen or anything else. So this gives really some some enhanced possibilities now to use multiple USB devices in the meeting room. Now, in case you connect your cameras to the Studio X devices or G62, you don't need the remote. It's not that it's not working anymore, it will probably still work, but it could confuse the whole setup. If you got a sort of tracking technique configured through Studio X and you change that through the remote, then it could get really in a conflict with the setting you have on Studio X and the setting you have in the camera. So I would say just remove the remote in case not needed to take away any issues where it could lead to. Now, we got this additional USB hub now. So this will enhance our table which we previously presented. For example, with the G62, using that in combination with Teams. Well, still we got a maximum over USB of 2 of those cameras. So that is a maximum which is also supported today by the Teams app. So not really limited by the hub in this case, but it is in any case limited by the number of ports. So in case you have 2 cameras connected and you still want to connect third-party DSP, then you need the additional StarTech hub to make sure you can enhance the number of ports. And also don't forget the Pro license. So with the Pro license you can manually switch. There's no auto switching, it's a manual switch between those cameras. Now looking at Zoom, there you can connect up to 3 USB cameras. And there you also need the StarTech hub because now you can enhance the number of ports and even enhance it further if you want to connect a touchscreen, for example. Now, same for the Poly mode. You can add here the StarTech hub. You can have up to 3 cameras. Looking at the G7500, here we got also a maximum of 2, while we have 3 ports, but it is a maximum of 2 what is supported. And I guess I've connected more of those cameras and it will probably work, but not officially supported yet. Now we got then the Zoom application, same thing, up to 3 cameras, but you could also use the HDCI port. But that means you will lose the USB functionality. So it's or you use HDCI camera, could even be you got DirectorAI, or you use multiple USB cameras. And the same for Poly mode, you can connect up to 4 USB cameras, plus you could use the HDCI. So in the Poly mode, it's not really required to do or you can even have both of them. And so that is just good to know. Now, again, the manually switching is something is on the Teams app. On the Zoom side, you could inject multiple streams. So they support multiple streams. So those multiple cameras can be at the same time in the meeting. But you got an educational environment there. You got one on the teacher. You got one on the classroom. You got one on the whiteboard. And then the remote Zoom user is able to switch between those cameras. I think a very, very nice use case. Now, looking further, we have the icon region extenders. So we got here the icon region extenders and we got the sound control extenders. These are all in the release notes. So if you need to extend USB, there's always possibilities for those devices. And that is all well documented in the release notes. And of course, I will make sure that I will put the release notes inside the description so you're able to find these. And again, don't mix IP and USB because that could confuse the applications which are running on top of the Studio X devices. Next one is just a quick reference to the integrator reference guide. So I will make sure in the comments that you get this information directly. So in the integrator reference guide for the G62, you can find a lot of information about the cabling, supported products, supported third-party products, supported camera, which what application, etc. So there's a lot of detailed information in there. So just please review, want to get details more and more. This is a living document. So they keep this document up to date with every new release. So I will make sure that you have reference to that document. Now, the next one is we don't have only USB connected camera. Now we also have now IP connected camera. And this brings the modular room story more and more to life. So the E60 is now also supported over IP. E70 was already supported there, and it makes life so much easier because you can connect up to 100 meters to every corner of your meeting room and to able to support that. Now we have those ports, we call them LLN. But on the LN we also create a sort of accessoire network. Well, we call that now Studio Net. So you will be able to see that throughout the documentation. It's called Studio Net. So I will introduce that more and more so you will get a good feeling about that. And be aware that IP connected cameras are not supported with every video provider. So you see now Teams and Zoom and poly mode, device mode, but just be aware that it could be that more like video providers will support IP connected cameras. So this is why always check the release notes of what video provider is supported. Now what is really important is the G62 has no power on the LLN port, so you need to add an additional PoE injector, or if you're gonna use a Netgear switch, you can get the power from there. On the G7500 you have three LLN ports for mics or cameras, etc. That is PoE plus powered, so you can connect there some devices to be able to use them in that Studio Net network. Now, looking at a Netgear integration, and that works only with the G62. So you're able to add the 4210 or the 4230 and use these devices in your environment. And then you're able to extend multiple microphones with multiple cameras, and I will show you exactly how much of these devices are supported, because this is, I think, really important. How many cameras can you connect with a specific provider? And again, this is really a living and a moving target also through next year, modular room. So you'll hear me more and more talking about this, and I will keep you up to date with the latest and greatest on this. First off, so we have here the G62, and of course it will require an LLN enabled switch to be able to make sure that the clock timing of your audio or your video devices is working correctly, because you know audio and video is very sensitive, of course, for any delay. So with the LLN switches we have that exactly correctly defined to make sure that the audio goes correctly over the network. Now we got here the ceiling microphones or the table microphones in Teams with a maximum of 3. We have a maximum of 1 today as an IP connected camera, and although I tested 2 or 3 and that seems to work, but not officially supported yet, so you can connect more, but that is on your own. So that is today maximum of 1. In the Zoom you have a maximum of 3 connected ceiling mics or table mics, and you can also have 3 connected IP mics. Really nice. And then you're able to switch also between those different cameras as a remote participant. So as I said, there's a lot of things going on. Same in poly mode, as we're able to connect 3 ceiling or 3 table mics. You're able to connect the 3 cameras here or 3 E60 cameras. With the G7500 you have sort of similar functionality, but a maximum of 2, because we have a maximum of 3 LLN ports, and you cannot add a Netgear switch, so that is really important. And so you have a maximum of 2 table or ceiling mics. You got a maximum of 1 like IP camera, so that is still the same. Here in Zoom we have also the same with the G7500. We got a maximum of 1 because we have only 1. In case you have only 1 microphone connected, then you probably can add 2 cameras on the Zoom side. But yeah, you are limited to those LLM ports, or you gotta go for the G62, where you're able to add through the Netgear switch, add multiple cameras. Same as in poly mode, 2 microphone, 2 seating and 3 table microphones, or a maximum of 1 camera here, because we have on the G7500 that maximum of ports there. So just a rough and a quick overview. And as I said, this will change throughout the upcoming versions. So I will make sure I keep you up to date with these designs. And looking at the integrator reference guide, but now for IP cameras. So you see that the E70 is nicely connected to the Netgear switch, similar as for the IP mics or the ceiling mics, and that is all connected now through the G62. Really nice. So we got it all connected. We got the TC10 and the G62 on the other end connected to the corporate switch for the internet connectivity. And you can see that this network, the Accessoires network, is completely separated from the corporate network. And of course, all the devices will be kept up to date, but this is something which the G62 is picking up and providing all the updates to the IP microphones or the E70 or E60 camera to make sure that that is all up to date, of course. Now, the last table which I wanted to show you is the combination with IP connected devices and using third-party DSP, which are connected through USB. So you could add a StarTech hub if needed, if you're out of ports on the G62, but if not needed, you could use it just directly on the G62, of course. First off, in Teams, well, still we got one IP camera connected, although as I tested that more cameras are working, but not officially supported yet. We can connect the Shure, the QSC, the biamp, and directly to the USB ports. Same as for Zoom, but now we need to add the Netgear switch to make sure we can connect 3 IP cameras because we have only one LLM port. You connect the third-party DSP through the USB port, and the Poly mode, same thing, 3 cameras with the Netgear, the USB for the third-party DSP. Now the G7500, interesting, so we connect also the Shure QSC to one of those USB ports. We got a maximum of 1 IP camera connecting to one of the ports of the G7500. Same as for Zoom. But now we could use more cameras because we have still 2 ports available, 2 LLM ports. So with Zoom, we're probably able to add more IP cameras. But as I said, we'll keep you up to date with all those developments. Same as in Poly mode. You connect the ports, the USB port of the third-party DSP to the G7500, and also here the maximum of 1 to those ports. So as we have more ports available, you could try it out, and probably that will work if you connect them over the LLN, at least as long as it's directly to the G7500. So really interesting. And again, I will keep you updated with those tables because that could change with all those new releases. Now, just really quickly, how does the pairing looks like? So we had it already supported with the E70. Now with the E60, same kind of way. You go here for auto discovery. So we see that it is connected over USB. Probably that will be the first setup because you got your E60 or E70 over USB. Same as with your TC10, which is connected through a network. Now your IP microphone, as you can see, is connected through a local network. This is the sign that it is LLN Studio Net connected. Now, if we don't want to pair them, what we see on the available devices, you see the devices popping up. So the E70, for example, is now unpaired. We click on pair. It will mention it that it is paired. The camera will reboot now to IP connected camera. And what you will see, the next step is that it is IP connected. And then you can remove, of course, the USB cable and have it connected over IP. And then you can go up to 100 meters into the room and connect that. So again, so everything I talked about, like USB connected cameras, IP connected cameras, the number of cameras in Teams, in Zoom, in Poly, just keep in mind that it's all well documented there. So I'm gonna make sure in the description that I will place all the reference there, as you can always find some more detailed documentation or something which you would like to share with your customers or partners, and that is always a possibility. So keep that in mind. And moving into next year, as I said, it's a living part, so I will make sure that I keep you updated with the latest and greatest on the modular room story. I will make sure that I keep you updated on all those tables, USB connected cameras, IP connected cameras, using it in Zoom, using it in Teams. And so I will make sure throughout 2025 modular room, and we're gonna make sure that I will keep you updated with the latest and greatest there. And of course, also in the description, if you need some references for your customers or partners, I will make sure that I will put some references in the description so you're easily able to click them through and find some information about that. And finally, with version 4.4, I can only mention this, not enough. Look at the release notes. Here you find an overview of all the applications and the versions, also the references to the vendor, to the different websites. docs.poly.com is really your way to go. There's a lot of things also in the release notes, looking at the microphone support, looking at third-party extenders, third-party cable extenders, the different DSPs that are supported. They are being updated with every new release, so make sure you check those release notes out where you can find these. One where I'm also really excited about is the reference guide. The integrator reference guide is available now. There's a compatibility guide, there's really a lot of new information there on the docs.poly.com. And again, I will make sure in the description that I'll put links to all those websites so you have them available, because I know a lot of customers and partners are always looking to diagrams, how does all things come together, which is supported, which camera, etc. Well, that is all being made available now. So hopefully with this video I can make sure that you all have access to those resources. And then rest me only in those final moments of 2024 to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And personally, I'm already looking forward to 2025. But first, of course, get with your family together, enjoy, and then in the new year we get together again, of course, with some coffee with Jan. Hopefully you enjoyed the last year all my coffee tech videos, in 2025 I'm planning to continue with all those videos. So I can only mention just subscribe to my channel to keep you updated all with that latest and greatest. And I'm gonna be in Barcelona. So if you want to find me, shake some hands, give some hugs. I am in Barcelona at ISE at the HP Poly stand. So if you're looking for me in the new year, you can find me there on the booth. I will be giving demonstrations. I will doing videos there live, so we'll probably do some booth tours. So yeah, please come over, and looking forward to see you there. And thanks for your support, and looking forward to see you back in